All right, guys, let's go through the geometry quiz review. So on slide 2, name each triangle based on its angles and its side lengths. Okay, so remember the angles would be acute, right, and obtuse, and our side lengths would be isosceles, scalene, and equilateral. So for this first triangle, it has a right angle, so this is a right triangle based on its angles. And based on its side lengths, I can see it has two side lengths that are in common. Remember, that's what these little tick marks here are telling you. So a triangle that has two of the same side lengths, that is isosceles. And I don't know if you get confused by isosceles, this is what I always think. This is a little bit silly, but there's two S's, and I think that there's two sides, like the two S's, that are in common. I don't know if that'll help you, but that's what helps me remember. Okay, for the next one, I have two acute angles, and then this one right here is obtuse. It's a little bit bigger than 90 degrees. 90 degrees would be right about here-ish. Ooh, I'm not very good at drawing that, but you can see it's a little bigger than that. So this is an obtuse triangle. And based on its side lengths, it has three different side lengths. That is scalene. And for our last triangle, three acute angles. So this is an acute triangle, and our three sides are all the same. That's called equilateral. Okay. Next, we're going to name the relationship for these different angles. So for this first one, when it's making an X, these two angles are equal to each other, and they are called vertical angles. Vertical. If you struggle to remember that, I always just think V for vertical. This is a V and another V pointing at it. So V for the vertical. Next, these two are making a right angle, which is 90 degrees. That is called complementary. Ooh, I write too big. Complementary. Again, if you get confused between complementary and supplementary, remember it's 90 degrees, and the 90 has this nice C right here for complementary. And finally, this is making a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. That's called supplementary. Okay, again, if you struggle to remember that, 180 degrees, the S in supplementary is right here. S for supplementary is right in that 8. All right, we're going to determine if these numbers can be the lengths of sides of a triangle. So would this create a triangle? So our inequality theorem for this said that the two shortest sides, if we add them together, they must be longer than the third side. So I'm going to take the two shorter ones, 1 plus 1. Okay, I'm going to add them, and they have to be greater than the third side. So 1 plus 1 is greater than 2. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is greater than 2. No, it's not. So no, this cannot make a triangle. Okay, for the next one, my two shorter sides. So 4 plus 18 has to be bigger than the third one, so bigger than 21. 18 plus 4 is 22. 22 is greater than 21. Yes, it is. So yes, this does make a triangle. And our last one, add them together. So our two shorter, 2 plus 1 has to be greater than the last one, so greater than 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is greater than 3. No, it's equal to, so that does not count. So no, that is not a triangle. It has to be greater than, it cannot be equal to. All right, here they gave us two side lengths, and we're trying to find what the third one could possibly be. And they did ask us to write it in this form, like a double inequality. So we're going to practice doing that as well. So remember, to find what those two numbers are, we're going to subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number, and then add the two numbers. And that's how we're going to fill in our double inequality. So for this first problem, I'm going to do 8 minus 2, which gives us 6. I'm going to do 8 plus 2, which gives us 10. And now I can write it in my double inequality form. So the smaller number, 6, is less than x, which is less than 10. That would be my answer right there. Okay, let's look at the next one. So I'm going to subtract bigger, 11, minus smaller, 6, which gives me 5. Now I'm going to add them, 11 plus 6, which is 17. Right into my double inequality, so my smaller number, 5, is less than x, which is less than 17. Okay, one more. Subtract, so 18 minus 17 is 1. 18 plus 17, oopsies, let's see, 18 plus 17, which is 35. Okay, and then 1 is less than x is less than 35. Okay. All right, let's talk about solving for different angles. So we have to always think about what our angle relationships are. So for this first problem, the two angles together are making a straight line, which is supplementary. The supplementary relationship is equal to 180, so I have y plus 77 equals 180, and solve, so minus 77, I get y being equal to 103. So y is 103 degrees. Don't forget that degree sign because it is asking us for an angle. Okay, next problem. There's two different ways I could do this. We could look at the whole shape across, but I don't really want to do that. That's a little extra work. They're asking me for GHI, so that's this part right here. I know that this GHJ is going to be a 90-degree angle, so I'm going to just set it up and kind of set that up as x. So x plus 48 is equal to 90. Then I can subtract 48 from both sides. X equals 42. So angle GHI is 42 degrees.